My name is Cynthia Gutierrez, and today I'm going to be talking about climate change and one of its greatest contributors, which is animal agriculture, or in simpler terms, meat. Now, I'm going to be talking about the causes, effects, solutions, the mindset and behavior that we can change, that we, us, you and I, have control over because we consume it every day. But first, why does climate change even matter? Well, let's say you're driving to work and you suddenly remember you left the stove on. You would worry, right? And if your house were on fire, you would panic, right? I know the situation I'm presenting is rather extreme, but it definitely gives you an insight on the gravity of climate change. Now, concerns on climate change have actually been around for decades. In fact, it was first properly introduced by the first assessment report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change in 1990 by NASA, that natural greenhouse effects were actually resulting from human activities, which were leading to global warming, unable to let the sun's heat escape back out of the atmosphere. Now, if you were to go to climatenasa.gov, as you see here, you would also learn about the potential effects, such as wildfires, droughts, tropical storms that will just keep getting more intense and far more often. But you will also learn about those causes. Exactly what is it that entraps the heat, which is one of them, methane. Methane is actually a greenhouse gas that is far more potent than carbon dioxide. It has and comes from our landfills, our agriculture, our ruminant digestion, which is very much like simply farts, not only from humans, but from animals as well. It comes also from our domestic livestock. Now, on a molecule-on-molecule basis, methane is actually a lot more potent than carbon dioxide, but it is less abundant in the air. Now, what does that even mean? Well, take methane to be like fire if you happen to be cold. If you get close to it, you're going to get warm a lot quicker than a coat. However, if a wind comes by, it can blow it away and disappear, unlike a coat. Basically, methane is a lot stronger, but can be easily disappear from existence. So what does that even have to do with meat? Well, the studies presented by Compassion in the World Farming that livestock farming produces from 37 to 65% of our global methane, nitrous and oxide respectively. What this means is that animal agriculture, more specifically factory farms, are high contributors on methane. Now, factory farms are actually intensive animal farming, whom put production above all else in order to be able to produce vast quantities of seemingly cheap meat, milk, and eggs. But factory farming comes at a great cost. Treated as commodities, animals are often raised in intense confinement. They are highly dependent on large quantities of our precious resources, such as grain-based feed, water, land, energy, and medication, like our antibiotics. And according to Convention on Biological Diversity, climate change may affect plant growth, production by promoting the spread of pests and diseases, like H5N1, H1N1, H5N1, which basically is the bird flu, the avian flu, which, as you can see, one is easily spread, rarely fatal, but has later mutated on to be a slow spread, but definitely and most likely fatal. Now, what can we do? Well, Footprint, in an article on climate change report making, how you can cut down on meat. One is simply reducing the meat intake by a day, like a meatless Monday, which has a 15% reduction on meat consumption. Or two, you can consume meat that is sustainably produced, for example, from family farms, which practices are a lot much better for the environment. Three, you can introduce actually more foods that often get overlooked, such as veggies, fruits, or other sources of protein like nuts and beans. And lastly, that mindset that protein is needed, that mindset of protein obsession is most likely wrong, as it can actually cause more problems than it is probably helping. High protein diets, especially those in high red and processed meats, are also associated with a lot of numerous health issues, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and colon cancer. Now, these are all things that you and I have control over, that we can help reduce the greenhouse emissions, the entrapment of the sun's heat in our atmosphere, without waiting for a bill to pass, without waiting for any government official or politician to act. We, the people, from kids to adults, can help dismantle factory farms. We can reduce the production by reducing the demand. We can start saving our planet. We can reduce the wildfires, the droughts, and the tropical storms in the future, and preserve our land and water. This life is temporary, and so is this planet, our only home. But if we want to make it last longer than the rate that we're killing it, then we have to act fast. So as Greta Thunberg said, I don't want you to be hopeful. I want you to panic. I want you to act, and I want you to act as if it were a crisis. I want you to act as if the house were on fire, because it is. Thank you.